Okay, here's my farm. Amish farm. Don't be afraid to learn how to douse. Women are better dousers than men. I'm sorry, but they just are. I probably taught 50 people how to douse, 30 of them women. I go to Ohio. I'm at a meeting. This guy had to leave our truck. Amishman. No electricity on the farm. Good little farmer. Here's his road. The red lines are power poles. In red is where we have electricity. Driveway, house, I don't know where the well was. I was in a hurry, but I figured it out. It's got a milk house here. It's got a little parlor rebuilt. 4x4, the guy's only got 30, put in used equipment. These Amish are very ingenious. Okay, he's got his generator here to run his milking. He's not a hand milker. I think he's got 35 cows. He's got a horse barn here and the old hay barn here. Then he's got kind of a concrete pad that's been in for a while, about this big, probably 100 by 150. He's got a generator here, and he's got his fencer in the milk house. And he's got the ground for the generator, and he used the ground for the fencer and the generator, and he's only got one right here. This was built recently in the last 20 years, so I know it's an equal potential claim. This guy's cell count is 500, 600,000. Cows won't milk out. He's feeding, his nutritionist has got him cranked up to 70 pounds of milk, pretty hot ration. He's getting 35. His cell count is off our truck. He's frustrated. After the meeting, I said, okay, how far are you away? I was with one of our reps, and I said, when do you milk? I want to be there when he's milking. Went out there. Did a walk around, and he had some cows out here, and they were all standing here, 3 of them, 4 of them, drinking water with their tongues. And it was just a big mess. And this was in about this time of the year, and it was freezing, and it was just mud, it was a mess. And these cows were, ooh. I went over with my little meter. I just held it close. There's no electricity to this water deal. He fills this with a hose, and they wouldn't drink out of here. Ooh, this thing's hot. I go over and I find this here. He runs, this is his parlor. He's got steel siding, and he nails his insulators right out of the steel siding. Then he goes out here, and he's got steel fence posts all the way around here. And he's just energizing this concrete with his re-rod. No electricity, no transformer, nothing. I can't have straight voltage. I said, you got straight voltage. Take the fencer. I said, get that out of there. Put a solar fencer in here. Make this permanent. Barbed wire fence. Cell count, takes a while. Some of these cows will be injured permanently. They get scar tissue in the udder. A lot of them you got to cull. You just can't get. But that was kind of interesting. Okay, who is this? This is the guy that's looking at coming on our truck. I'll get over here he calls. 200 cow herd. Son came home 3 years ago. They built a parlor. Here's the road. Township road. There's his electrical poles on this side of the road. Got a driveway, house. This isn't real far. This would probably be from the road to here, not 100 feet. Okay? Here's the old cow barn. Got dry cows and a bunch of cattle. Here's the milk house, the new milk house. Here's a new parlor 3 years ago. Beautiful. Beautiful. Built a free stall. 200 cows. Built himself a concrete lagoon, re-rotted, to hold the manure from 200 cows for 6 months. This thing is big. And it's full when we drive in. We looked and Al said, it's going to have to empty that pretty soon or it's going to run over. The more in here, the higher the electricity. The bigger the building, bigger the equal potential plane. We go in the house. Why did you call? She said, we're going organic or we're quitting. She said, I do the books. And she said, I can't pay the bills. We have a 28,000 pound herd average. We're doing everything we should. And she said, I can't pay the bills. I said, what have you had for health issues? He said, we've got a coliform in here. And we've lost 21 cows. And this was in probably the end of September. We've lost 21 cows from an E. coli mastitis that kills them in about 36 hours. They'll run 107 temperature, that udder will blow up. It'll get nothing out of it but some serum, and that, he said, it just kills them. We're vaccinated for everything known to man. We gave them staph vaccine, we give them E. coli vaccine, we give them everything. I said, what are you feeding your cows? How much corn silage? 48 pounds. Ooh. How much grain? 20 pounds of grain. Corn. How much concentrate? 6 pounds of concentrate. Any soybeans? 3 pounds. I said, you're not feeding a pig here, are you? I mean, the cow's rumen is made for grass and hay. You're getting 28,000 pounds of milk? How long do your cows stay around? She said, we don't have any 4-year-old cows. We're always buying cows. Our banker gets sick of us coming in. We need 20 cows all the time. I said, what is your vet bill on 200 cows? He said 36,000. She said, no, we're past that already this year. We're going to be in the low 40s. I said, $40,000. I said, God, I love people like you. When I was in practice, I had 2 of them. One of them bought me a new pickup every year. They had 30 pounds of milk. And she said, I'm either leaving or we're going organic. She said, I'm not going to put up with this. Their son came home 3 years ago. He's out doing chores. And I said, when did this start? They said, when we built this new parlor, this equal potential plane. And John came home. Well, they were blaming John for the first couple of years. He didn't know how to milk cows. So John comes in, and he's going to farm. And I said, how's it going? I said, do you have any trouble getting your cows into the parlor? And he said, they don't come in. Yeah, he said, we got a crowd gate, and we push them in, and we hit them. And I said, did they kick the milkers off? He said, every other one. And he said, you know what else they do? He said, all they do is come in and crap. And this is another sign of the voltage. He said, they get in there, and he said, crab it, and they get half done milking, they crab it, and they kick the wire. He said, it's just a mess. Oh, transformers right here. Probably 12 feet from this. Power company should know better than that, but they don't. He's got a source of electricity here. He's got all this re-rod and freestalls here. He's got this and he's got this. I mean, he is just boom. I said, are you leveraged to the hilt financially? Are you going to be able to stand a 3-year transition? Yeah. Apparently they made money. This guy's good dairyman. They use Ovasync to get the cows bred. Ovasync is 6 hormones. It came, Paul Fricke, the professor at Wisconsin, came up with this. The Ovasync program, the first service conception in these big herds, folks, is 18%. 6 shots of hormone before they put sperm in the cow. That program isn't working. Now they have double sync. There's 7 shots of hormone before they put sperm in the cow. Now, how did we get way over here? Turn the cow into grass. There's phytohormones in grass. Feed the rumen right. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I shake my head. I don't know, I'm getting old-fashioned or something, but we wrote up a list. I said, are you really serious to be on our truck? And she said, we're going to be on your truck or we're selling. She said, I've had it. We're losing money. She was the sharp one of the bunch. And he was kind of a passive guy, and he's going to go along with her. I've talked to him twice. I said, okay, move this. Get this baby over here. This is north. Get this over here. Vernon Electric is quite cooperative. They've moved it. Step one. This thing here, empty it. And when you empty it, you'll have a period of time while you're filling it that you won't have any coliform. Start feeding kill. They're at about a 75% seed to grass ratio. I said, that's a cow killer. I want you 65% high forage diet when you come on our truck. Third one. Our bank merged with another bank in northern Wisconsin. This guy is a good dairy farmer in our cousin bank, and I got called to look at 4 or 5 farms up in northern Wisconsin. This guy has a little depth, good dairyman, good dairyman. Here's a road here, power line going this way, a branch going this way. House, garage, well, transformers there on a pole, great big one, 50 kV, big enough. He's got a milk house, he's got a 30-year-old parlor that's shot. He's got a son that wants to farm with him. He's got enough cows, 180 cows, but he needs a new parlor. The people that merged with us have heard me talk, and when they heard equal potential plane, they said, why don't you come up and look and see how this guy should put his parlor in and what he should do. So I go up there. I am the ag loan man. Here he's got a young stock barn quite a ways away on a sandy knob, no problem. He's got a hoop building here, but it's the old type that's got the hoops on the 8x8s, and there's no concrete in it. And he doesn't lose any cows. He's a conventional guy that has cleaned up his herd from Yonis, and he feeds whole milk. He said, when I started feeding whole milk, 3 gallons a day to my Holsteins, he said, I don't have sick calves anymore. Isn't that amazing? Now, they built a new dry cow barn right here. Beautiful. 180 cows, so it's probably for 60. It's got lockups, bunk line feeding, and a water right here. The Ritchie water right here. We're going through this. The nutritionist, who's really good because he's got this herd on a high forage diet. They're a little bit further north. They can't raise good corn up there. It's above the Twin Cities, up to getting into the lake sandy country. And so he makes hay. He makes hay. Dry hay, haylage, feeds a little grain, likes oats, feeds his calves oats. Good operator, I was impressed. Their problem is, they're dry cows. When they calve, they crash and die. It's been going on for a year. How old is this building? A year ago. A year ago. And you probably started a year ago. Yeah. So that's the last thing. We go through the whole thing. I'm impressed. I make some recommendations. And we get to here, and we walk here, and here's 4 cows standing at this Ritchie water, drinking water with their tongue. Just laughing. I look over here, 30 yards away, sits 3 capacitors. I just happened to look over and, hey, I said, how long have they been there? What? I said, those capacitors. Oh, I don't know, they've been there forever. Those capacitors are running right into here. This re-rotted equal potential plane with the Ritchie water that's grounded right here. They had cows that were big Holsteins that would eat 23 pounds of dry matter. And this nutritionist was putting molasses in. He said, I can't get these cows to eat. They won't eat mineral. He said, when they calve, he said, they all get milk fever, they all get ketosis, and in a week, half of them are dead. He said, I don't know what's wrong with that. He said, I've done everything to the ration. And he was standing there, and these cows were looking. And I said, he was an older guy. And I said, watch that cow drink. He said, what? I said, watch her drink. No, she's using her tongue. I said, yeah. You got water there, it's hot. They're restricting their water intake, and they're not drinking water, and they're not eating feed. What do we do? I said, tomorrow you go to town, get yourself a big old black rubber tank from Farm and Fleet, and take a garden hose up there and fill that Hummer with water. See what they do. Their dry matter, they start drinking water, and their dry matter intake took off. These capacitors right here were the problem. It's kind of fun to go on these, so you go to these different farms and you see what, most of the time you can kind of figure it out. Sometimes you can correct it, sometimes you can't. Any questions? I'm done.
With the country going green and getting away from crude oil and coal and electric cars and all that, so how much is this gonna transform into the city life?
When you go to Minneapolis, St. Paul on the west side there, I had a daughter that lived at Plymouth on that 694, 494. There's a big 345 kV power line going there. They got townhouses built 50 feet from it. They've got to be Leukemia City. So my sons have this guy working with them in Colorado. I have a son that's a geologist, one archaeologist, to build timber frame homes. And they hired a guy to do blueprints. He's a teacher. And he starts doing blueprints, and his shoulder starts deteriorating. He goes to the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, and well, you got fibromyalgia, but you got this, and his shoulder just keeps disappearing. And I mean, he can hardly lift it. Well, they do these timber frame homes, they build them in a warehouse, and then once out of every 4 weeks, they go and they put them up. The general contractor gets the pad, and they're high-end homes. They're $1 billion, $600,000 to $800,000 homes. It's all timber frame joints and that. It's not by machine, they're handcrafted. They're artisans, my boys are. And he goes along and helps, and about 6 days he said, man, I feel good. So one day, he crashes again, and the boys are going by there, and here's a big 750 power line sitting 100 yards from his aluminum trailer house. And here's a gas line with a compression station. They have to compress these gas lines every so often, and so these big gas lines are coming out of the ground with this 90-degree deal. And he's sitting next to it. And my boys are privy to me, and so they said, you know what, Doug, you got some current issue there. Dad's coming out, and I'm going to have him bring his meter. And so I go visit him, and their little girl then, in the meantime, 9-year-old girl starts getting, so she touch her nose, and she can't touch her nose. And so they haul her to Phoenix, and they think, oh man, you got MS, it can't be that. They can't identify it. And then their little boy starts getting nosebleeds. And so I go out there, and they put a little building up for goats, and the goats always die. The goats are there 2 months, and the goats are dead. They just die. And so I take my meter, and that whole yard is just 100 goats. And their transformer is sitting right on the southeast, west, east side of their little trailer house, and that thing is just, I've never seen anything like that. It's just pulsating out. Woo! And I looked the whole situation over and said, you got to get out of this place. You've got to get out of this place. You've got so much current here, it's going to kill you. And he was a believer, and she wasn't. She was a nurse. And I said, you need to talk to somebody. Now, if you know my guru that I go to, he's a big, intimidating, deep voice. I like your hair. You got a horrible shirt. I mean, that's kind of right. You met him. He did you a lot of good. I said, you need to talk to my friend. I called him. He answered the phone. It was evening, 6 o'clock. Lyle, I said, I got somebody that I want you to talk to. And I put her on the phone, speakerphone. Hi, how are you, ma'am? You got a problem. Doc, explain me your problem. The first question, and I didn't know this. This girl's 9 years old, the boy's 5. Do your kids wet to bed at night? Yeah, she said they do, and they've done all their life. I don't know what we're doing wrong. Bedwetters, huh? Bedwetters, that's a sign of straight current. I asked that question now. And your little boys, your little girl can't touch your nose, Doc says, you know. Your husband's shoulder's wasting away. And your little boy, Tell me about him, I told him. And, well, what do you think? She said, what do you think will happen? Well, he said, I'll guarantee you what'll happen is that you're gonna bury one of your kids in the next 6 months. And I don't want Doc telling me that you buried one of your kids. He said, get the hell out of that house right now. Whoa. I said, we have a house out there 6 miles away. Beautiful house. My wife and I, we like southeast Colorado. It's by the Four Corners, by Mesa Verde, and it's good climate. And we got 2 kids there and grandkids, so we go out there. And I said, Doug, move into our house. We don't rent it out. Oh, okay. And Friday goes by, we go home, doesn't move. Another Friday goes by. My 2 sons and 3 of his fellow workers, you know, I called Doug and I said, Doug, why aren't you moving? Well, our kids are going to get color crayons on the wall. I said, you know what, we have 6 kids and my wife painted over color crayons more than once. Move in our house. So our 2 boys picked them up and moved them to our house. Didn't charge him a thing, just move in. Within 3 weeks, he called me and he said, our kids quit wetting the bed, our boy, his nose is cleared up, our little girl can touch her nose, and he said, my shoulder feels better already. Thank you. Now, what about these kids in these townhouses? Fortunately, they're all young couples that don't stay there very long. But that's got to be Leukemia City on 694, 494 in Twin Cities, because they're sitting right under a 345 kV power line, and that has an electromagnetic field for 2,000 feet.